The name KFC does not hold as much weight as it did in the past. Competitors or rivals in the chicken business could not match up in terms of desirability. It was the home of chicken lovers and the king of fast food. It's kind of unbelievable how that same KFC has lost its touch in the chicken game. Customers don't feel the same way about it. Those qualities that once had every customer on their toes have been chopped away over time. Sit back as we go through KFC's history and how it fell off. Colonel Sanders, the original owner of Kentucky Fried Chicken, had a remarkable life. At 6, he learned to cook due to family challenges after his father's death. By 12, he had cooked for his siblings as his mother worked. Struggling with a stepfather, he left school, working various jobs for over 20 years. In 1929, he transformed a Kentucky gas station into an eatery, serving popular chicken, vegetables, and biscuits. At 40, he opened a 142-seat restaurant motel, marking the beginnings of what evolved into Kentucky Fried Chicken in the 1950s. In 1952, he focused on spreading the idea of refranchising by opening the first franchise in Utah. Within 4 years, he hit the road full-time to convince people nationwide to open KFC restaurants. The recognizable red and white stripe theme, the perfected 11 herbs and spices recipe, and his unique appearance influenced potential franchisees. His branding became more iconic than the restaurants themselves. In 1964, he sold the business, with a group of investors buying it for $2 million and promising Colonel Sanders a $40,000 yearly salary on the condition that he continued as the face of the company, traveling, making public appearances, and generating excitement about the brand. The new owners proved even more effective in expanding. Within 6 years of taking control, by the end of the decade, there were a whopping 3,400 KFCs in operation. This made them a giant in the fast food world, twice the size of McDonald's. They dominated every market, especially in the chicken restaurant niche, as many competitors hadn't even emerged yet. However, as the years passed and competition intensified, KFC struggled to keep pace with the changing landscape. In the 1990s, Boston Market became a big hit by offering rotisserie chicken. Following suit, KFC started selling the same thing in 2013. Then, in 2013, Chick-fil-A surpassed KFC as the top-selling chicken restaurant in the United States, a title KFC had held for over 50 years. Surprisingly, Chick-fil-A later achieved this with not even half as many locations as KFC had in 1971. In 1971, KFC was bought by Hoobline for a hefty $285 million. Hoobline, known for producing popular alcoholic drinks like Smirnoff vodka, owned KFC for the next decade. During this time, they aimed to expand the brand, reaching nearly 6,000 restaurants by the 1980s. For both of these owners, a major goal was to expand by opening as many restaurants as possible. To achieve this, they took some shortcuts, finding ways to make food quicker, cheaper, and easier. Unfortunately, this sometimes meant sacrificing quality in the process. Another significant reason for their decline was menu-related issues. Who better to notice a drop in food quality than the Colonel himself? Throughout the 1970s, he often criticized the food at KFC, claiming many changes had been made to his original recipes. In 1974, when KFC introduced their extra crispy chicken, the Colonel labeled it a fried dough ball stuck on some chicken. KFC attempted to sue him over these statements, highlighting the tension. Another menu-related challenge was KFC's attempt to move away from its core product, fried chicken. In the late 1960s, they ventured into spare ribs and roast beef, neglecting their identity. They even tried starting a spin-off chain called Kentucky Roast Beef, which gained several locations before ultimately closing down. This shift away from their signature fried chicken contributed to the menu-related struggles they faced during that time. In 1982, KFC, along with the rest of Hoobline, was acquired by R.J. Reynolds, then America's largest cigarette maker. R.J. Reynolds, having ventured into consumer foods by acquiring Del Monte, later acquired Nabisco. However, just 4 years later, they sold KFC to Pepsi for a hefty $850 million. This move made sense, especially as Pepsi had previously acquired Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. The acquisition led to a switch from Coke to Pepsi products at KFC. Pepsi, known for successful ventures with Taco Bell and Pizza Hut, invested millions in a new complex dedicated to KFC. However, despite the hopeful expectations, the investment didn't seem to pay off as anticipated. Numerous failed products were introduced around that time, contributing to the ongoing menu-related struggles for KFC. In 1997, all the restaurants under Pepsi's control, including KFC, became a separate publicly traded company known as Tricon. Later renamed Yum Brands, it not only maintained KFC, but also ventured into buying and selling other fast food concepts. There were even attempts at co-branding multiple concepts in the same building. Despite these changes, KFC remains under the Yum Brands umbrella today. Another substantial challenge for KFC has been its marketing. When Colonel Sanders passed away in 1980 at 90 years old, KFC lost its iconic spokesperson. Few brands are as intertwined with a personality as KFC and Colonel Sanders. Even though I wasn't alive at the same time as him, I still associate the two. Finding a suitable replacement or marketing strategy has proven challenging. Different campaigns haven't been as catchy or effective. To rejuvenate the brand, they attempted to bring Colonel Sanders back in cartoon form in the 1990s, and more recently through various celebrities dressed up as him. One notable effort was part of a $185 million investment in 2015 aimed at breathing new life into the brand. Despite these endeavors, recapturing the magic of the original Colonel Sanders has proven to be a persistent challenge for KFC. Originally portrayed by comedian Darrell Hammond, who felt misled by the company as he thought he would be the long-term spokesperson, Colonel Sanders saw various replacements like Norm Macdonald, Jim Gaffigan, and even Reba McEntire. This shift has been somewhat polarizing, possibly bringing attention to the brand, but its effectiveness remains uncertain. In 2009, KFC had a menu hit with their grilled chicken, but its marketing was handled poorly. KFC sent a letter to the UN asking them to recognize Grilled Nation, a fictional country supposedly consisting of the 60 million people who had tried their new product. Adding an odd twist, someone dressed as Colonel Sanders managed to infiltrate restricted areas of the UN building, shaking hands with important figures. While it may have garnered attention, this marketing attempt was perceived by some as misguided and possibly disrespectful. The figures don't strongly suggest that these unconventional approaches have significantly boosted the brand's success. Regarding the grilled chicken, there was another fiasco when Oprah Winfrey promoted a deal on her show offering a coupon for a free meal. Too many people showed up, causing long wait times, and they couldn't honor all the coupons. This incident resulted in more bad publicity for KFC. Another potential reason behind their decline could be health concerns. Kentucky Fried Chicken is generally considered one of the less healthy options. As the public has become more health conscious over time, especially compared to the dominating years in the 1970s, this shift hasn't been favorable for KFC. In an attempt to address this, they officially changed their name to the initials KFC in 1991 to remove the word fried. They also tried introducing more health-conscious menu items shortly after, but these changes didn't seem to resonate well with customers. In the early 2000s, KFC embarked on a campaign asserting that KFC stood for Kitchen Fresh Chicken, seemingly aligning with a health-oriented approach. However, in 2006, they faced a lawsuit due to the staggering amount of trans fats on their menu. Later that year, they committed to phasing out the use of trans fats in their cooking oil. Even with efforts like the Double Down sandwich in 2010, which used fried chicken instead of a bun, they continue to struggle with being seen as a healthy option. KFC faces challenges with poor relationships with franchisees, constant criticism from animal rights groups, overdue renovations, and updates to the restaurants. Additionally, their customer service has been criticized, which is particularly concerning given that their major competitor, Chick-fil-A, is renowned for exceptional customer service. All these factors contribute to KFC's struggle to maintain a strong and positive reputation in the eyes of the public. In 1991, when KFC changed its name to the initials, a rumor circulated, suggesting it was due to genetic modifications with the chickens, making the resulting creature legally ineligible to be called a chicken. To be clear, this rumor is not true, but it has persisted for 3 decades. So while KFC is not as prominent or esteemed as it used to be, these misconceptions have added to its challenges. It's important to note that the reasons discussed primarily apply to Kentucky Fried Chicken in the United States. Interestingly, KFC has experienced significant success in various markets globally. Notably, in China, they were the first US fast food chain to open in the 1980s with a distinct menu. Capitalizing on this early entry, they have become one of the most recognizable US brands in the country, showcasing a different trajectory from their domestic challenges. In 1997, KFC's international locations surpassed those in the US, and currently, over 80% of their locations are situated abroad. This shift of focus towards foreign markets could be considered yet another factor contributing to KFC's challenges in the United States. While they have achieved substantial success globally, the emphasis on international expansion may have impacted their performance domestically. The dynamics of foreign markets and local preferences might have played a role in steering their attention away from the US market. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content.